Can you look at the camera?
And we're back. The Dr. Z Show.
And we're front with the Dr. Z Show.
You can never just intro the show, right? You always gotta do some shit. You can never just intro the show. Like every time now that we intro a show, I'm like, should I stop recording and start over? But then it would be fake and like, and I would know it's coming, so but I already know it's coming, so I just sigh, but like, We're back at the Dr. Z Show on Thursday.
Yes.
Today is Thursday, all day. Why are we back on Thursday, Jacob?
We're back on Thursday
Tell us.
because stuff is happening in our lives. And Tony saw Spider-Man Far From Home last night.
And it was fucking awesome! It was great.
Okay.
It was amazing.
But for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet, we don't want to spoil anything.
Spoiling it.
Yeah, so there will be a part of the episode where we'll be talking about it, and maybe stop listening at that point. But
yes, we will 100% talk about what happened in the movie and the end credits and the other end credits, like 100%. But we will let you know well in advance. So if you have not seen Far From Home, do stop listening at that point because the spoiler is not worth
off.
Unless you just don't care about spoilers, in which case you're a savage and you're not to be trusted. I can't believe there are people like that. They're like, "Oh yeah, you can spoil the movie for me." Like what? Especially a Marvel movie, though.
Oh gosh, I had a terrible thought. Well, I wanted to make like a car joke, but then
a car joke.
It was like spoilers on cars. But then when you said spoil the movie, I pictured someone like gluing a miniature car spoiler to like a DVD case. Oh, this movie's been spoiled.
Are you sure you haven't been doing drugs? You're like 100% sure.
Unless you count sugar. Abby made macarons and they were delicious.
I'm sorry, she made what?
She made macarons. They're like these really, really hard to make, like
macarons?
No, macarons. They're like the almond flour little pastries with the prunes or the coconut cookies. Macarons are like these super expensive pastries.
Okay, that's just horribly confusing now. Now I'm just confused. They're spelled differently?
Okay, yeah, so macaroons has 2 O's, and then macarons has 1 O.
Okay, at least there's that. Because I was like, what the hell is it? Like,
they're spelled the same, but pronounced
really wrong? Like, I was like, are you just saying really wrong? Okay, anyway, so what's our bit today? Because we have a bit, of course.
Okay. So,
what's your name for it? Because I didn't come up with this name, so Jacob takes credit for the name.
So the name of this bit is the Corrupt-A-Wish Foundation. So he presented the concept, and
I did not make up this concept, but it is hilarious.
Basically, you wish for something, and then the other person comes up with a caveat that ruins the wish.
So,
or
for
makes
example,
it less desirable.
For example, so like the one that I saw yesterday that I was like, oh, we have to do this on the show was Waluigi is in Smash, and then the caveat was, but he's the only playable character, which is in my opinion a great caveat.
You know, it would be amazing because people have done mods in the past, but like if someone made a mod where it was still all of the fighters, but they were Waluigi, and like him dressed up as everyone else.
That's both hilarious and terrifying. Can you imagine like Waluigi dressed up as like Peach?
Yes. That one sounds funny. Him dressed as Bayonetta sounds terrifying.
Except instead of instead of her ponytail, it's
I
his
mean-
mustache hair, like goes behind him, and that's his hair. This is horrible. Look what we've become.
Where'd the call go?
What? This is horrible. And now we're frozen.
Oh,
We're back?
you disappeared.
Yeah, you were frozen for a second. I was like, oh no. This is
Yeah.
what we've become. Anyway, so I'll let you go first. I assume you have a wish pending.
Okay. I wish
No,
for
you
world
do. You
peace.
don't. World peace.
I'm gonna
But-
wish for world peace.
Okay, but there are no humans on Earth.
Okay.
That one was too easy. Like world peace, no humans alive. Yeah, not only there are no humans on Earth, there are no humans alive.
Oh, okay. So the
They're
human
gone.
race is
The
just
human
gone.
race is extinct due to like
That-
zombies or something.
That would be crazy. Like for how like genies like trick stuff. When you make wishes and kind of like jinns and all that. Like someone wishes for world peace and they're like, okay,
Oh yeah, and they're like,
everyone's dead.
that'd be horrible.
They're like, it's peaceful.
Pretty peaceful around here to me. I don't know about you. Okay. I wish. Oh man, I was gonna have a really good one, but now I can't think. I
As-
wish. What?
As a side note, the only good lighting in my house is like coming through this window, and so I'm leaning up against like the wall next to my closet, and so I said this off air, but I'm saying it again. I look like I'm a squatter, just like living in someone else's house with all these boxes.
I mean, yeah. Are you though? Like, are you actually? Are you squatting right now? Is that what's
Let them-
happening?
Don't let them know.
Don't feel, conceal. Or wait, no, it's never mind. I'm getting off topic. I wish I will do some easy ones to start. I wish I had a Ferrari. It's like in my driveway. Just had it.
But it's stolen.
Be able to get away. You'd be able to get away really fast. I stole a Ferrari. No, don't steal Ferraris. I'm not advocating for the stealing.
Oh, okay.
of
So I
Ferrari.
have a different one, but it's a Hot Wheels replica.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty funny. All right.
Here's here. I got you a Ferrari for your birthday. What? No way. Like this is
I
little
feel
one.
like I've seen that on the internet somewhere. Like on somebody's like Instagram or like a Facebook post. Anyway, okay.
I know one of my sisters asked for side story. My uncle likes to prank us around Christmas. Or at least he used to when we were younger. He hasn't done it for the past couple of years.
how do you have to prank him?
We have a few times. But one year, my sister one of my sisters asked for an Xbox, and so my uncle just gave her this box that had a
I
carved
had a
wooden
giant X
X
on it.
in it, and it's like it's an X block. And then there've been like other things like that, like presents that are just inside of a bunch of other boxes that are all wrapped as well.
My parents did that to me once when I got the Game Boy. I think it was the Game Boy Advance or something, and I knew they got me a Game Boy Advance because the first present that I opened that year, I had like 3 or 4, and like some of them were clothes, whatever, like stuff you're not excited about when you're younger. But one of the first ones I opened, if it wasn't in fact the first one I opened, was the Game Boy Advance game. And so I was like, I know it's around here somewhere. And so I like started opening all the small boxes, and I was like, oh, I haven't found it yet. Like, and then I got to the last box, and it was this huge box. It was like bigger than I was. It was probably a box that our like chest freezer had come in or something. And I was like, oh man, like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I couldn't like figure it out. I was like, oh, like I guess I didn't get it or whatever. And so like I open it, and it's another box. And then I open that box, and like eventually it gets down to this like teeny tiny little box that has the Game Boy Advance like box in it. And I was like, oh, that was clever. I was like kind of pissed about it though. I was like, haha. I was like, what the heck? Like, why'd you do this? Why are you like this?
Nice. Okay. I wish. I wish superheroes were real.
But they were all Booster Gold. Every superhero is Booster Gold.
Oof.
Do you still wish superheroes were real?
No.
We should add that. Like, would you still wish for that?
He's so bad. He's so terrible.
Except that one time that he like saved.
Yeah, there is one episode where he actually does something useful.
He's in the background of a lot of episodes, I noticed. The last time I rewatched Justice League Unlimited, he's in like the background of a lot of things. A lot of episodes where they like call on the whole Justice League. Like when they're fighting the android, like when the android shows up and they like have to fight him or whatever, he's like in space. And I was like, wait, what? Like Booster Gold is like still around? Like still hanging out? Like being useless member of the Justice League? I mean, then again, like every single member of the Justice League was useless in that episode, so can't really blame him that time.
They're all My favorite terrible thing he's done in recent comics development is he brought Batman to an alternate reality where his parents had survived.
That's horrible.
Yeah, to show him that the world needed him, I guess. It was really jacked up. Like
That's
like this is the kind of thing like the Joker would do to torture Batman if he needed.
Wait, no, like I'm confused. Why is it bad? What's the bad part?
The bad part is one that this like alternate reality doesn't it was kind of like a Flashpoint paradox kind of thing where like this reality existed but it was at a great cost.
What was the cost?
The cost was like basically the world, because Batman never existed, a lot of his rogues gallery were really successful.
Oh, so like the joke, like the villains won, basically.
Like they ended up and Dick Grayson still becomes like kind of like a Batman-esque figure, but he uses guns and everything, and like doesn't care about like killing villains and stuff, and like he almost kills Booster Gold. And so like Batman is almost like not able to get back out of that reality, and it's a huge mess.
And is Booster Gold like, I'm sorry, that was my bad? Or is he like, oh yeah, whatever, it's fine?
He was like, it was his birthday present for Bruce.
What the fuck you, Booster Gold?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's bad.
Booster
Yeah,
Gold
Booster Gold.
is terrible.
The other thing is there's a supervillain that Booster Gold creates, and it's his ex-wife from the future, and she hated being married to him so much that she became a supervillain.
That's like
She became a supervillain just to kill him because she hated him so much.
wow. Wow. That's extreme. Like
Yeah,
that's extreme.
yeah. I need to go back and look because I saw it on like an episode of Justice League Action, and I need to go back and like remember her name and everything and exactly why she.
That reminds me of the resolution to the time traveling Unlimited story arc where they were like in the Old West and then like that inventor and then he like became a villain. And the resolution is him reliving like his wife yelling at him like for all eternity.
Oh yeah. Oof. Yeah.
That they stopped doing those. That was the last like major time travel arc that they did. They just stopped doing them because of when he went forward in time, or when he went so far back in time, that they like, almost saw like the beginning of like creation or the beginning of time or whatever, and the whole thing went on is like no one can see the beginning of time, and they got into a huge fight with some kind of crazy religious group about what was at the very beginning, like what was it like the beginning of time, and it was like this hand opening.
Just a hand. Yeah.
So they got into like some huge trouble with some group about that, and so they were like, okay, we're gonna stop doing like time travel stories, like I hurt your feelings.
Green Lantern had to intervene, and like Kara almost died in the future.
Oh, that was a different one. That was when.
Yeah, but it just in general, like there's time travel story arcs.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, no, that was a different one. I don't know if I liked the ending to that. I don't know if I liked that resolution.
That she survived, even though she was supposed to die.
No, that she stayed in the future. If I was Superman, I would have been pissed. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
We're like way off topic now.
Okay, what do you wish for? What does your heart desire?
Those are different things. What do I wish that I could remember everything I've ever learned. We're gonna get more complicated. I can see the wheels turning in your head. And if you're watching the show, you know that it's going to be terrible.
There's so many easy ones, like, but every time you do, someone dies. Like,
what?
Every time you remember something, someone dies.
It's like someone, like anywhere, like
anyone. No, I'm trying to think of one that would be like, I mean that's like, birth and death statistics. Like that's happening all over the world. But not like because of you. So you could remember everything you've ever learned.
Yeah.
But you could
basically I have an infinite memory.
But you can only remember it in like Barney the dinosaur's voice. In him like singing a song. Like with the information.
It's not worth it.
That's the caveat.
I can't do it. It's not worth it.
This is how you change a tire.
It's not worth it. No. Can't. I can't do it.
Hey kids. That's like one of my companions on my mission. Like he was from Honduras, and he learned, he came like not really speaking much English, and then he was fluent by the end of his mission. Like I was he had learned, like all of the other missionaries who had taught him English had like tried to teach him as much, like I guess well, he had a black companion who like taught him a lot of like Ebonics and like other stuff. And so like it was just funny like hearing him talk, because he was really like fluent in like American slang, and not in like a funny way, but just that like
That's what he knew. Right.
Yeah, he knew his stuff. And so there, we had this, sometimes when we were talking, we would talk about like, when he had to like rethink decisions in his life. Often his like the voice that he would use for his conscience, like correcting him on things, was like a sassy black woman. I was like your conscience is a sassy black woman. So that would be like the ideal, I think. Like if you're about to make a mistake in your life, and like, honey, like nope, not sure about. I don't know about that. Like, but having Barney the dinosaur for your like internal monologue would be horrifying.
That's like nightmare.
Okay,
dude.
something. You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. I wish. I wish I could solve any puzzle.
Like jigsaw puzzle, or like any puzzle at all?
Any puzzle. So like I would include like, but not like powers of deduction kind of stuff. Like I wouldn't want to be like a super sleuth, but more so like physical, like tactile puzzles. So like any Rubik's cube, any like any of those other like kind of like puzzle game kind of things. Maybe like Sudoku, crosswords. Be able to do any of those.
Just be able to like do them.
Yeah, and not like struggle, but like just be like, okay, do it quickly, because technically anyone can solve those. Like that's
Any
a power
puzzle,
that,
right?
yeah, that's a power that like everyone has. But it just would take some people more time than others.
Okay. Solve any puzzle. But you only solve it the wrong way. Because I imagine like a puzzle, like a math equation, right? Is a puzzle. Is like a kind of puzzle, basically. And so like you get the right answer, but all of the steps you took to get that answer are wrong. Like somehow you reach the right conclusion.
Oh, okay. But like my work to show.
When it's like show your work, it's like all of your work.
The answer like is always okay. I'm trying to think of how that would like. So for Rubik's cubes, I would just like smash them against the wall and then just restructure them, or like take all the stickers off and put them back on. Like,
well, that's not solving a puzzle. That's cheating. I don't think the puzzle counts as solved if you cheat. Anyway, no, yeah, that's my caveat.
I'm trying to think like how can you do a jigsaw puzzle incorrectly?
Well, yeah, I mean
have
that's
it be right in the end.
That's where it falls apart. But I just thought of the math thing, and that was funny enough to go on.
Or like it's always in a way that like no one else can recreate, but is like kind of disturbing. So like with a jigsaw puzzle, like you just throw it into the air and all of the pieces fall down like together, and you're like, yeah, like I'm really good at puzzles, and everyone's like, what is happening?
Everyone's like terrified, like witchcraft. Okay, let's do like 2 more.
Okay, what do you wish for?
Only because I really want to see how you would mess this. Not only because I really want to see how you mess this up, but it would be awesome. I wish that I could control time.
Okay, like all aspects, like end game style, like aging. In addition,
Well, like
travel.
that I could not necessarily sure, time travel. Okay, we'll limit it. Time travel and the like ability to like freeze time in place.
Okay,
Like those aspects of time.
so maybe like you can slow and speed up and travel in time. Slow to the
Yeah.
point where like
It stops. Yeah. Okay. That's enough.
okay, you have the ability to control time, but it's at random.
It's horrible. That would be so bad. Like,
Control time, but you can't control your power. You can't control your ability to control time.
yeah, no, I get it. That's horrible.
Yeah.
But it like makes sense in context. I guess.
That'd be so terrible though. Like you're just like walking along and then like boop, like you're back in the 1800s and you're like ah.
Not again.
Or like you're having a conversation with someone and then they just stop responding. You're like dang it.
That's like, I mean, it's like kind of like being on Skype with you.
Froze time again.
When the connection is bad.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, it's a random. That sucks. Okay. Okay. Reasonably terrible. Your turn.
Like and it's to a degree where like it's not only that like you travel in time where you can also like jump within your own timeline. You just like pop in. I'm thinking almost kind of like the movie Big, with Tom Hanks. Where,
Oh,
like,
right.
suddenly you're like 80 years old, and
He's
you're
not
like, ah.
80 in that movie.
No. I was just thinking like you're 80 years old, like you're there like with your wife, like
Oh, right. Okay.
you're like I don't remember any of this.
Who is this?
Like ah.
How did I get here?
When I grow up, I want to go to the moon. Why wait? Okay. I wish.
I thought of another good way to ruin the superheroes one.
Yeah.
Superheroes were real, but there was no crime. The crime never occurred.
Then it would just be like sports.
It would be sports.
Yeah, like you know, like in Legend of Korra, the like pro bending, like they'd have to have like superhero.
Superhero sports.
Yeah.
The
That'd be
Super Olympics.
Super Olympics, super wrestling, super football,
Super wrestling.
super hockey.
Okay, anyway. Wish. What do you wish for?
The NSBA. The NSHL. Sorry, what do I wish for? I wish our cat would let me put a little walking harness on her so I could take her for walks.
That's very specific. Like,
an actual wish. All the others are kind of like throwaway. I don't care about world peace. if I could, I would. But
yeah, okay. This is backtracking. Yeah.
this one's at least like within my grasp.
But you had, but you had to put you have to put the harness on her with your feet.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Every time.
It's almost not worth it. That's great though. The image of you trying to do that is so worth it.
For a second, when you first started saying it, I thought you were gonna say teeth, and I was like, oh geez, like that would be like even worse. So much fur, terrible. It's terrible either way. This segment reminds me a little bit of just like the worst superpowers discussions that we've had in the past.
We've never had. Have we ever had those on air?
I would have to go back and look. I feel like we might have.
I don't think we have.
As a side note,
if we haven't, we should go back and that'll be our bit for the next episode.
I will spoil this one. One of my favorite terrible powers that I ever came up with was you have the ability to jettison your limbs off of you, but you can't reattach them. Like, and it doesn't like make you. It doesn't make like you won't bleed out. Like it'll just like you get like
jettison them off at like what speed though?
Let's say maybe like
just like fall off, or you can like shoot them.
You can shoot them. You get exactly 2 rocket punches in your entire life.
That reminds me of like games where you like have an elixir and you're like, do I need it? Like thinking like, should I rocket punch this person? Like, is it worth it? Okay.
I mean, if it was at a sufficient speed, someone probably could turn that into a power if they were able to get like some kind of system where they were able to surgically reattach them.
Every time though.
You'd have to have it on like a cable. So they would have to have like really crazy augmentations in order to get the power to like work
properly
in their favor. Yeah, but without that, like you just one day, yeah, you lose one of your legs and you're like, ah, shoot.
The cable gets cut. I imagine their like supervillain being like someone who's obsessed with scissors or something. The cable cutter. Okay. Well, if you don't want Far From Home,
Bolt Cutter.
If you don't want Far From Home spoiled, we'll see you next time on the Dr. Z show. But you should go see Far From Home and then come back.
Yeah, adios to whoever has to cut out now. But for those of you who are still,
great. Welcome back to the Dr. Z show. Anyway,
please turn off your TVs now.
So, Far From Home.
Incredible movie. I have lots of thoughts. I have lots of good thoughts and like a few. I mean, like a few nitpicks, but like it was a movie that like almost made me cry. So I thought in the trailers, I think they did a wonderful job in the trailers of not revealing who Mysterio really was. I thought that was great.
Okay, first, real quick, let's get the nitpicks out of the way because I only have one nitpick. I have one nitpick about the whole movie. I could probably think of more. And I'll bring up the other one that I had originally until I thought about it afterwards. But I only have one, and that is the ridiculous side plot about Happy and Aunt May.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
did not care about that at all. It added nothing to the movie. If it was completely gone, the movie would have changed. It wouldn't have changed. It was completely unnecessary. It added nothing to the movie.
Okay.
I mean, that's just how I feel about it. Like, I mean, you feel free to disagree, but like,
So what? People aren't allowed to have lives? Is that what you're saying?
yes,
Okay.
those were my exact words.
As long as yeah, my only nitpick was in light of all of their movies, the Iron Man movies in particular, addressing so the Iron Man movies and the Captain America movies, up to and including Civil War, and like Age of Ultron and other things, I feel like they did a good job of addressing. I mean, Black Panther even, like they did a good job of addressing real world issues that would exist, because of like superheroes.
Because of the
and, like,
existence of heroes. Okay.
yeah, and the implications of all this. Like all of the hearings that like Tony has to attend, like in front of Congress and Iron Man 2, and other things, and like the Sokovia Accords.
Which were really the Superhero Registration Act, but okay.
Yeah. So my only problem was just Edith. I think it made I think it was a fine MacGuffin for the movie. Like it made sense for Tony to leave that behind. I feel like that made sense for it to exist. But as far as like Shield's reaction to it, I feel like it was very, very like poorly handled. They were like, "Hey, you almost killed an innocent bystander. That's fine. Just do better next time, okay?" Like,
well, okay, and here's the counterpoint to that. It wasn't actually Nick Fury.
yeah,
Or Agent Hill. And that was originally going to be my other nitpick with the movie. Is I was like, why is Fury acting like this? Like Nick Fury, like this isn't Nick Fury. Like he doesn't act like this. Like
yeah.
what the heck? And then in the post credits scene when it's revealed that they're actually the Kree, I was like, oh, that's why Nick Fury is acting like this, because it isn't Nick Fury.
Aren't the Kree supposed to be able to get like all of the memories of the people they copy?
I think so, but here's the thing: is that the story has changed so differently from the comics that it's like kind of unfair.
I haven't seen Captain Marvel, so I don't know what the MCU has established.
Oh, you didn't see Captain Marvel, really?
No, not yet.
Okay, you should see Captain Marvel.
Okay.
It doesn't really do that great of a job explaining. There were some plot holes in that movie. Overall, it was a good movie. There were some like kind of glaring plot holes in it, but it does explain enough about the Kree to have them make sense later.
Okay.
Some of the things it does with the Tesseract, I don't agree with, because the Tesseract is in that movie.
Okay.
But anyway.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of my only nitpick. And just the ease with which Edith was able to change controllers. Like you had to get the you had to get the like specific confirmation from the previous user to transfer it to a new person, but then Peter took it back over. It just was like, oh hey, like you're a previous user, so like this is fine. But the current user to like give you like reins again.
Well, it didn't.
That,
It didn't delete. It didn't delete Peter when he gave it to
Yeah.
Mysterio. It just added Mysterio. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I guess it's like a user on your computer. Like,
yeah. The other thing that I thought was kind of weird was I feel like in light of everything that happened in Age of Ultron, like why would Tony Stark build another AI
well, he
that
built Friday.
exactly, but why would he build another AI that was capable of knowing literally everything about anyone that was available information and yet was able to receive orders to just kill innocent people? I feel like in light of everything, he wouldn't have built a system where he could order airstrikes on
Teenagers.
non-threatening targets. This person's just a teenager, and like they're in the way of my plans, and so it just it didn't feel like the kind of well thought out system that Tony would have built based on everything else in the MCU, in light of every other movie in the MCU. That said, I think it was a fine MacGuffin for driving the plot of
and that's why I'm not like, oh, what the heck, like irritated about it the same way you are. I mean, I'm not saying you're like, you have a right to feel that way about it, but like,
boycott Far From Home, make them re-release it and change Edith.
But he built Friday, and Friday was able to do kind of similar things. He didn't need Friday to do those things because he was still there.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be like he had to think ahead, like, what is Peter gonna need? Like, why would Peter need this, or why would he need that? Like, kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to think about too much about like the what if of the thinking of characters that are gone, but
yeah. Okay, boss, I'll kill literally anyone on Earth that you want me to.
I mean, I think
just say the word. They're dead.
Like, I think the implications from Winter Soldier are more glaring in that than the implications from Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier with the Hydra, the the Hydra like infiltrating Shield and then like controlling the like kill machines or whatever.
Yeah.
That they created. Okay, so what did you think of the Elementals then? Them not being like Hydro Man and Sandman or whatever, like you originally thought.
I thought the Elementals were great because they're canonical. I thought it was great for the MCU, like, and also like Mysterio referencing like this is Earth 616. I'm Earth like 824 or whatever. I thought that was really great to harken back to the comics, but also as an Easter egg, but also to still be like accurate. That like
right.
Yeah, the main Marvel universe is Earth 616. Like so that was cool. And also just the scene in the bar when he's like making fun of their like silly like sci-fi plot that they've come up with.
Oh yeah, how they like created this plot like kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool and made a lot more sense for Mysterio to have an entire team behind him to pull off these like big theatrical lies, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't think of the right word. Productions to fool everyone. I thought that was pretty cool. Like just the whole nature of that. I did wonder where they got all of their funding to pull off the first few ones. Like once they had Edith, it made a lot more for the things that they were doing, but they're I thought that was really cool because Mysterio he's historically never done well, really. Like,
Yeah.
Spider-Man sometimes is a little confused by his holograms, but then even then he's like a little confused. Like that's the closest
Yeah,
Mysterio
he's not like,
ever.
oh, like
Yeah, like pushing
in front
pushing
of a
Peter in
train.
front of a train, dope, like sweet move. While also like terrifying him and using all this imagery from his past and stuff, like, super dope. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal did a really good job. As
Really? That's going back.
in his performance. Because I thought it was great because he was this crazy. Well, one, I did like that they redid his past, that he wasn't a this,
A
like,
special effects like movie
Hollywood
bigwig.
guy, this like Hollywood effects guy who decided to become a villain. Yeah, but he's this tech
Well, he
guy
didn't
who wanted to
decide
get back.
to become a villain.
Hmm?
Well, like he didn't like decide to be, he didn't just like wake up one morning and it's like I'm gonna be evil. Like he got careless with setting up for his special effects and he caused the death of
Oh shoot!
yeah, he crashed a camera helicopter and caused the death of the pilots and like horribly injured the like big actress that he ended up like in like in the end or whatever being in love with.
Okay,
And so like he had to go on the run, like he was a fugitive, like,
okay.
and he like assumed the guise of Mysterio.
I didn't know that. I just remember reading about him a little bit ago that like he had just
Yeah, he wasn't
think
just like I'm gonna be evil now, like
in a few points he gets resurrected and gets like actual magical powers from like the devil or something in that universe, but he still loses. Like he just continually loses every time. I mean, as is the nature of villains, but
right. I mean,
he had just always seemed like a much less successful villain, in terms of like the actual psychological damage, psychological and physical damage he had been able to do to Spider-Man, in the media that I had seen prior to this. But I felt like he was a great villain in this. All the little things that he did to connect with Peter, and be like this kind of Uncle Ben kind of figure for him, or like like replacement Tony Stark for
right.
him in light of like Tony's death. Not yours.
What?
And you're dead in the MCU. You know.
Oh yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the actor they have playing you in the MCU is dead.
Now we're just getting confused.
Yeah, sorry, that's my fault. What else did I like? I almost teared up when he finally used the spider sense, because that
scene was
awesome.
fucking sweet.
Yeah,
like that scene was so dope in the tunnel and the bridge. Is that the scene you're talking about? That scene was dope. I was like, yes!
And then at the last second,
with the
last
gun,
second when he just
when he grabs him,
bullet, like that is just like cinematic gold.
When that happened, I thought before it cut to him holding Mysterio's hand, I thought that he had caught the bullet with his spider sense, and I was like, oh. But then I saw it, and I was still I was like, oh, that's awesome. But like I thought that he had caught the bullet, and I was like, oh,
so cool. So
I did tear up at the scene in the jet when he's building, when he's acting like exactly like Tony, building the new spider suit.
Mhm.
Like I was like, and then he started playing, and then Happy started playing the AC/DC song. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
Like it's.
another powerful moment.
And then he
Um,
said, "I love Led Zeppelin," and it like ruined the whole moment for me. I know it was supposed to be like funny, cause like he was like a kid, but I was like, that ruined the whole moment.
I did like the development for Mary Jane. I thought that was handled well.
Or
And
character development, just like in general, or
yeah, and it kind of it's such a change from, well, I mean, the entirety of the people around Peter in the MCU is so different from what I'm used to. But I'm fine with it because I think it's done well. It's I'm not mad at them, like, it's not the same, like, an actress, like, whatever, because she's like an investigative reporter in the PS4 game.
well, she like becomes a reporter. She wasn't originally.
Okay,
Also,
So-
also, if you have a chance to get your hands on the PS4 game, like I know you don't have a PS4, but like if you
yeah.
like,
One of
if
my
you have-
brothers-in-laws does, so
yeah, if you have a chance to play it because it's awesome. I'm like kicking myself that I like have devoted almost the entirety of my time playing PS4 to playing Apex Legends, which like don't get me wrong, I love playing Apex Legends. It's awesome. Find me on PS4 and I'll kill you. But like I I like ignore the plot in that game to do the side stuff because the side stuff is just fun. Like just swinging around the city as Spider-Man
catching
is
pigeons.
just fun.
There's a side quest where you have to catch 10 pigeons for this guy.
Yeah, I found that one.
Pigeons got let out, and you have to catch them. I watched a lot of videos about it when it had like first come out, so I know a lot about it, but haven't played it.
Focus. Far from home. Best moment period in the whole movie.
The Spider Sense moment.
Other
Like,
than
yeah.
other than the objectively best moment in the movie.
Okay. All right, I have to like replay the whole movie in my head. Yeah, 2.5 hours later. Okay, wait. Let's do like a brief like plot recap so that I can try and recall certain things. So they start out. He's like Nick Fury's trying to call him. He's getting ready for his trip. They're
They
like,
talk about the blip. So they mention that Endgame like happened, of course. Like,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
they
so
do
they
like a
mention that.
super quick recap of how the ending of Endgame like affected the world.
Okay.
Super quick recap of that.
Okay, so they went to they end up going, oh yeah, like Spider-Man appears at that like charity event for Aunt May.
Also, when did Aunt May find out that Peter was Spider-Man? Was that in Homecoming?
I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah, because he like shows up and there's no like
Oh yes,
Spider-Man.
it's at the very end
of Homecoming.
of Homecoming, and maybe in one of the end credit scenes, he comes into his room and she's there and is like, oh hey, and he's like, crap.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not wrong, I think that's what happens.
Okay. Anyway,
so
side point.
all right, so they end up going to Europe. There's like scenes with elementals in America,
Venice, and then Austria.
Yeah. Um,
And then in Prague, after they defeat the fire elemental, they like won, and so Peter's like, I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my trip, and like gives the glasses to Mysterio, and then Mysterio's
he
like,
gives the
ha ha
glass.
ha, I'm a villain now.
I think that might be the like, you know, I think that might be the second best scene, is that reveal in the bar. Like that's just like a good scene, like with the recap of like all of the different parts of the different MCU.
Oh, of the past movies.
Yeah.
I liked that they included the like other actors.
Like the guy that Obadiah Stane is yelling at.
Yeah,
Like,
when that happened, I was like, holy crap, because there was a scene in the bar and he points to that guy, and I was like, that guy looks super familiar. And then it's the scene from Iron Man 1 where Stain is like going crazy. And I was like, oh shit, it's that guy.
and something that I always forget about, but I enjoy to no end, is that Obadiah Stane was played by Jeff Bridges.
Why do you enjoy that so much?
Because I just think Jeff Bridges is like a funny actor, like having been the Big Lebowski, like, and in the Tron movies, like,
Oh,
just, you know, picturing him as these
like can't
different
take him
people.
seriously.
Yeah, it's just funny to me.
Yeah, hearing his voice come out of like the super Iron Man suit that he builds is like, dude, chill.
I do love the part where in Iron Man 1 when he steals the arc reactor. Like, I
Oh
thought
yeah, where
that,
he just like takes it
yeah, like that was I thought that was cool.
with the weird ear bleeding MacGuffin technology.
Yeah.
Ear bleeding?
What else? I think yeah, and then, like, you know, other there's other like funny things. And the other one that's pretty sweet is the whole like hallucination esque uh, hologram that Mysterio uses to like find out who knows about him. So he like stages that
Oh,
whole
where he's in
thing
the okay, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
tends to shoot Nick Fury and then pretends to get captured, and then, you know, like shoves him in front of a train.
Right.
Like, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, that was well done. I really liked the what was it? The scene. Okay, hold on. Let's back up. We're running out of time. I know you gotta get to work. Um, so thoughts on the end credit scene?
Oh yes, the first
Not
end credit
not
scene.
yeah, the first one, not the Nick Fury one. We'll talk about the Nick Fury one later when it's figured out where the hell he is.
Yeah, the first end
J.K.
credit scene.
Simmons as Jameson.
Yes.
The only choice for JJ.
Yep. And he's broken through different universes. Like his J. Jonah Jameson portrayal was so strong that it has like threaded between two universes.
Oh yeah, because he's Jameson in the Tobey Maguire movies too. I forget.
Yeah.
So how do you? And this was actually Claire's nitpick with the movie was she didn't like how they like shoehorned in that there was like going to be a sequel. She felt like that was like really
Okay.
forced. And like I understand that, but like it, like of course there's going to be a third one. Like there were 3 Iron Mans. They're talking about Doctor Strange 2 and Black Panther 2 already. There were 3 Thor movies. There were 3 Captain America movies. Like they're doing the third Guardians of the Galaxy. Like
Yeah.
3s. The only one that's had less than 3 right now is Doctor Strange.
They need to have and the other thing is they're gonna run out of movies that have the word home in them, like because it was Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home. Like, what's the third one gonna be?
Home Alone.
Spider-Man Home Alone, starring Macaulay Culkin as the Green Goblin. Spider-Man punches him, the mask comes off, and he's just like, ah! or Macaulay Culkin as Kraven the Hunter. Like, which Spider-Man villain would
scary. That's
like,
more
which
scary.
would current day Macaulay Culkin be like the weirdest ass?
Rhino.
Yeah, that'd be pretty weird.
But the Rhino from the Ultimate series, where it's like the big suit and then the little guy inside it.
Yeah, I could see that working.
Or Venom. Macaulay Culkin as Venom.
No, I really hope they have, like, because I really like Venom, the most recent one. I really hope there's a sequel for it, like that it did well enough that a sequel comes out, and I would be interested to see. I'd be interested to see how they would handle a movie. Like, my one fear is that the last time Venom was in a Spider-Man movie is that there is Spider-Man 3, too many villains. That movie's terrible.
It's so bad.
But I think the issue, because they're portraying Venom as like an anti-hero, in that vein, which is kind of what he's become, is that if they were to make a movie with it, I feel like it would go the same direction that Batman v Superman went, where the movie's not focused, and that there's like, whereas there's a very short kind of central conflict between the characters in Avengers, like having to rally around each other and then defeat the main villain. Like, from what I haven't seen Batman v Superman, but from what I had kind of heard is that it was like kind of like sloppy and like weird, like kind of lacked direction.
It was like poorly made. It was like trying to do too many things at once with the characters, and the conflict resolution in it was garbage.
Yeah.
Here's how they result. Here's like,
hey, Martha.
Yeah.
Martha.
Quick recap. Batman is mad because Superman exists. Superman is mad because Batman is mean to him. They fight. Their mothers both have the same name. They're fine. Everything's cool. Doomsday shows up. They're like, holy shit. Then Wonder Woman shows up and they kill Doomsday. The end. Why did that take 3 hours? Why?
That could have been a 30-minute episode of Justice League.
Yeah, I was literally about to say it. That could happen in a single episode of Justice League.
Yeah.
Why? Also, Batman just kills people. He just like kills them.
Yeah.
The scene in the beginning where he's like got the like the bat plane or whatever. He's just like gunning down like guys in the warehouse. He's like, yeah, I'm just kill these people. Like,
he's like, I don't shoot people with handguns, but I use missiles and stuff. That's okay.
Yeah, like that's Batman's whole thing, is that he doesn't kill people. Like, that's his whole shit. Like, you took Batman's whole shit from him. Like, now he's just a dude. A rich dude. That's mean. Like, he was like 100% like, I'm gonna kill Superman. Like, and how did you see this going?
Okay, we should probably end there, but the question for the audience is, what home themed name will the next Spider-Man movie have? And if it is Spider-Man Home Alone, which
What villain does
Spider-Man,
Macaulay
which
Culkin play?
Spider-Man villain or character should Macaulay Culkin play?
Gwen Stacy. We'll see you next time on the Dr. Z Show.
Audios.